Ladies and gentlemen, we have the biggest compound we have seen in MX bikes, and one that I think will live on in servers for years to come. JV did an insane job with this compound, and it's got 6 tracks, so we don't have any time to waste. Let's get right into it. Track number 1 is the motocross track. Track number 2, we've got the sand pit. Track 3, we have SX North. Track 4, we have SX South. Track 5, we have the Enduro Cross, and track 6, we have the Enduro Loop, which goes around the entire compound. So, without further ado, let's hop into the motocross track. So, off rip, the first thing I'll say is that I apologize for the image quality. I have been having the worst PC problems that you could possibly imagine, and it's just been dying on me and then turning back on, and the screens aren't working. And then I got a driver update and it seems to be working good again. So I'm hoping the video quality should be good for the next track review video, but please don't let that stand in the way of seeing the absolute beauty that is this JV compound. Off the rip, you can already tell just how flowy this track is. We're on a KTM 450 again today. This track, I did initially try to ride it on a 250, and I think the jumps are just a little bit too big, so I do recommend ripping this track on a 450. It's just going to be much more enjoyable for you. Now, JV is, of course, the track creator who makes all of the GP tracks. He helps a lot on making the outdoor tracks for the Pro Nationals for all of the ARL series. So JV knows a thing or two about making some rough tracks, and this track is definitely rough. If you're newer to the game, you might struggle on this track a little bit, but I think that the overall flow of the track outweighs how rough it is. And if anything, it'll just be kind of a good introduction to how to ride rough tracks if you're not used to it yet. I mean, this track, it just has huge jumps, it flows, the scenery's beautiful, as is the entire compound. And it's one of those tracks that you just spin laps on over and over again, because pretty much all of the lines are viable. You can hit nearly all of the ruts and all of the corners, and they're not going to be just detrimentally slower. And yeah, the track is just such a vibe. All the elevation change, all the big jumps, all the corners. As a motocross fan, and if you're somebody who just loves awesome tracks, this track is bar none one of the best we've ever seen. This is like a dream track to anyone who rides a dirt bike. Now it is time to channel your inner Jeffrey Hurlings and absolutely send it in the sand. This track has major Europe vibes, Lommel, you name it, any of the cool sand tracks. This track, the vibe is completely different than on the main motocross track, which I would say resembles more of a really cool American track. This track, on the other hand, if you're looking to get more into the technical ability in the game, throttle control, sitting, standing, leaning forward, leaning back, making sure you're flowing and timing all of your corners and jumps and everything good. This track is just so sick. It flows so well for a sand track, and it's just so satisfying to do laps on. Whenever it is hard at first, I'll say that. It is tough. Whenever you first start doing laps, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But then after like 2 or 3 laps, you catch a flow, you start jumping into the corners, you start standing up more and realizing that, oh, I can double this, I can double that. And you do, even if it's subconsciously, start channeling your inner Jeffrey Hurlings. And boy, is it so fun. JV absolutely killed it with this track. I think it's the perfect kind of combo of challenging but still super fun. So if you're somebody that is a fan of sand tracks, obviously this track you're gonna love. Lap times are like around 2 minutes, so it's not short by any means. I was kind of expecting it to be a secondary track as kind of what you see in a lot of compounds, but that is not the case at all. This track is just as long almost as the premier main track that we just went over. So another banger here on the JVMX Park, and yeah, I just had a blast spinning laps on this track, so I know you will too. This track I have seen on social media is being labeled as the most creative supercross track in MX bikes. And while I am inclined to agree, this track does seem similar to me. It kind of reminds me of some Huron tracks, some Huron supercross tracks, like on Huron Compound and stuff like that, where it kind of goes up and down. It's got this cool elevation change. And yeah, man, JV killed it with this. You got the different line options that are all super fun to hit, super viable. Creative stuff like going out into the gully, jumping way high, coming out. This track is just a blast to ride. It almost feels like you're not even riding a supercross track. It's like you're just going around an obstacle course trying to jump as big as you can. And it's honestly kind of a nice change of pace. So yes, definitely a very creative supercross track. And one that, again, just like all the other tracks in this compound, it is very easy to just sit here and spin some laps on and admire the view. Now, the South Supercross track is more of a traditionalist supercross track. You'll notice there's whoops. There's actually 2 sets of whoops, whereas on the previous track there were no whoops. This track has, like I said, it's more traditional. There's triples, there's normal supercross obstacles like what you would see on a regular supercross track, just with the added touch of the beautiful JV textures that he so masterfully crafts and somehow sculpts every track he makes to just be this just amazing photo opportunistic work of art. So if you're into that, this track is going to be great for you. Like I said, more traditional supercross practice, great for timing, for, you know, everything. The scale of everything is good. It has multiple different lines throughout the rhythm sections. You can go look on social media. I guarantee you people probably aren't hitting the same lines I'm hitting, and they're going just as fast. So that's always fun on a supercross track, and this one is really fun. Next up, the Endurocross track. Do not ask me how many attempts it took me to film a complete lap without crashing. As you'll see, I get sketchy plenty of times. This Endurocross track primarily consists of rock gardens, logs, and some water. He didn't really include any tires, although he does have the tire textures on the side, so maybe next time. But no tire obstacles on this track, but boy, is it tough. I do like the natural rock obstacles that he's got here to kind of immerse you in this sort of mountain-esque, pine tree vibey location that he's in. And yeah, one thing I will notice, the water, it almost has tough block collisions on it. So on the longer loop around the outside, you kind of try to avoid the water because it does have those weird collisions on it. But we're gonna go ahead and we're just roll into the lap here around the outside and just kind of summarize what we've gone over today, because I mean, 6 tracks, we're on the 6th right now, but it's about a 7-minute lap time, which I'm gonna let it play out just in case you're a curious cat, want to see all the different views. The track around the compound does, like I said, it loops around the entire compound. You get a little bit of everything. You can soak in, admire the views, and just kind of have a good time. Like, you know, sometimes I feel like we forget to just have a good time playing MX bikes because we're so focused on spinning laps, trying to get better, trying to hit this line, trying to get really good at this one specific track so that we can achieve a specific lap time. But every once in a while, man, it just feels nice to spin some laps around a big loop like this and just take you back to the roots of enjoying the physics of the game, enjoying the surroundings, and just having a good time riding a dirt bike in a video game, man. And JV did such a good job with the environment and the textures on this. You can even hear just like a wildlife alarm in the background, you'll notice whenever you play this track. You can hear the cars on the highway. You can actually go on the highway, and there's like a road that loops around the entire compound. Not just the trail that loops, but also there's a road that loops around the entire compound. So just the attention to detail, even down to like the interconnectedness of the tracks in the middle and the bridges that connect them, the signs that point you where to go, the maps around that kind of show you where you need to go, how to get there. It's just awesome. As always, JV just absolutely knocks it out of the park, and it really feels substantial, I think is the word I want to say. Like, it feels like you're playing something that somebody spent just an absolute ton of time on. You can tell that it's quality. It's sort of like whenever you buy something new, you know, whether it's a new jacket, or if you're a golfer, new golf clubs, or, you know, if you're you get a new bike, anything new that you get, you know, where you just like, you have that feeling whenever you use it of like, ooh, this is crispy, this is nice. That's how this compound feels when you play it. It's like, oh, this is so sick. This feels like I'm playing something super cool. So while it does have a $4 price tag on MX Bike Shop, it's beyond worth the $4 price tag. Not only do you get, 6 tracks, but they're quality. They're not, you know, shorter. They're not dumbed down, however you want to put it. They're all, each in their own right, is a fantastic track. So I can't speak highly enough of this compound. JV just, man, he killed it. So I'm going to leave you on that note. Enjoy the rest of this Enduro Cross lap if you want to sit through and check it out and kind of vibe. I don't know what music I'm going to put over it. I feel like I'm a DJ or something, you know, I'm going to throw some music over this. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'll try to fix the quality of the clips. The frame rate's just a little bit weird, so I don't know. There's something going on with my NVIDIA, but I'll figure it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, we'll see you in the next Start Your Systems track review video here in MX Bikes. I've been your host, Transcend, and we'll see you next time.